So, today's Sunday. And Friday evening, there was a combined Bhakti Vriksha gathering, 2 groups meeting in one home, and we discussed one verse from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, verse 1. And chapter 9, verse 1 has a little section that's a summary from chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, mentions specifically chapter 7 and 8, and then 9. Kind of quick overview. But mentioning in chapter 9 is specific details about the personal feature of Krishna that lead to pure devotional service are found in chapter 9. And to understand chapter 9, Krishna says 2 things at the beginning. Non-envious, anasuya, non-envious of Krishna, then such a person can understand. And then 2 verses later he says those that are faithful, and those that are faithless can't understand. And then specific, so that's the personal feature, emphasis on, in chapter 9, on Raja Vidya, Raja Guyam, Pavitram Idam Uttamam, Pratyaksham Avagamam Dharmyam Susukam Kartam Avyuyam. So it's very confidential. Guya Tamaha. Guya Tamaha. Very confidential. Most confidential. Uttama. Confidential. So, reference to chapter 7 and 8, Prabhupada writes that in chapter 7 and 8, Krishna says the same thing. Krishna is the object of devotion. But to understand the object of devotion, Krishna explains many things, including he is the source of everything, and then everything includes all of his energies. So some of his energies are described in chapter 7 and 8. So when I sat down and opened up the book, there was already a bookmark on.
Yeah, I think you put the bookmark last time, and I didn't.
You didn't move it?
No, I didn't.
Didn't? Okay. So chapter 7, text 7 and 8 is what we'll be discussing. And beginning of chapter 7, Krishna says, I'm going to explain how to do the topmost form of yoga, because he said the topmost form of yoga, in the previous verse, end of chapter 6, is 2 things: mind fixed on him, madgatain antaratmana, and with faith, shraddhavan, bhajate yomam, engaged in devotional service with faith. So what the body does and what the mind does. So then now I'm going to explain it. So part of explaining it is what's the object of meditation, and how do we view the object of meditation in terms of the energies that come from that object of meditation, the energetic. Chapter 7. And that's the beginning of explaining how to. So it's important for us to know how to. And part of it is, it's important for us to know the energies have their connection with the energetic source. That's sambandha. Yeah, sambandha means? Both of you? Relationship. Huh? Relationship.
Yeah.
Sambandha. Relationship. So all energies have a relationship with the energetic. And part of bhakti is to see the relationship of energies with the energetic. Or it's incomplete to not see the relationship of energies with the energetic. Just like, here's a house. What's the relationship? Or here's some fruits. What's the relationship? He is the source. I mean, there's many things you can say in between, but he's the source. Now inside that which he's the source of, there's seeds. The grapefruits had seeds, the mangoes have a seed, and etc. There's seeds. And he's the source of those seeds. Aham bija pratakpita. He is the seed-giving father of the grapefruit. And the apple, and the mango. And no, the mango tree is where the mango comes from, and the seed of the mango comes from. Everybody knows that. But where did that seed come from, and where did the seed come from? So he's the original seed-giving source. There's no mango, or there's no mango tree without the seed-giving Krishna. So although we're seeing there's a mango on the plate, so we can see the connection, the sambandha, the relationship with Krishna. And that is necessary to move in the world where there's lots of things, energies, material energies, separated material energies, bina prakriti, that's in this chapter 7, bina prakriti, ashtada, separated energies. But there's a source. So although they're separated, they're not like disconnected. And what is that source? Well, that's madgatena antaratma, that's the object of meditation. While doing what you do, while living in the house, or seeing the mango, or etc., eating the mango, and we make that connection between the things that we do and things that are around us with the source. So chapter 7, text number 7, Krishna says, Matak parataram nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya mai savaramidam protam sutre manigana iva. O conqueror of wealth, Dhananjaya, conqueror of wealth, there is no truth superior to me. Mai sarvam, mai is in me, sarvam, everything, all that be, sarvam, mai sarvam, idam protam. Protam is strong. There's a nice combination, otam protam. You heard that one before? There's a cloth. And the language of the Bhagavatam says a cloth is simply made of horizontal and vertical threads. And the cloth doesn't exist minus the horizontal and the vertical. So the cloth's existence of the cloth is dependent upon otam and protam, the horizontal. But it's the existence of the cloth is, where is the horizontal and vertical? So here, just the word protam, the Krishna is the source of the protam, which includes then also the otam and protam. He's the source of the cloth. He's the source of the threads that make up the cloth. He's the source of the combination of things that make up everything. The things and the combination of things that make up everything. That's Bhagavad Gita's message. Everything rests upon me. Idam protam sutre, on a thread. Mani gana, money is jewels. Mani ganas, he's translated as pearls. As pearls are strung on a sutre, on a thread. So here's a garland, and you can see the flowers, and you can't see the thread that's the flowers are suspended on. But anybody that's made garlands knows flowers don't just hold their position without the thread. You don't see the thread, but you know the thread is there. intuitively, and practically. There's a thread holding the flowers together. Similarly, Krishna is the sutre, or the thread upon which everything rests. See him or don't see him, there's a thread upon which everything rests. And the everything means everything, matter and spirit, but that's within this chapter. So back to chapter 9, summary, Prabhupada says, chapter 7 and 8, this connection between the source of everything and the energies of that source of everything, to help us understand bhakti. It's not just a notion or an emotion. There's a thread, and there's energies, there's flowers, and there's things. There's mangoes and a cloth on the floor, and there's things. Krishna is the basis and support of all those. In the purport, which I'm not going to read, Prabhupada speaks about the personal versus impersonal conception. And of course, we understand the absolute truth in the final analysis as a person. What's the basis for that? Within the Vedas, there's these terms nirguna and arupam, meaning he has no material qualities and has no material form, but he has a spiritual form. That which is the basis and support of everything, the source of everything, that from which everything emanates, ultimately is a person. Well, and how do you know that? On the authority of the Vedas we know that. Because it's beyond the jurisdiction of our senses to perceive and our mind to intuitively understand, so we'll rely on instead knowledge coming from a perfect source, or parusheya shabda, knowledge coming from a perfect source. That's Bhagavad Gita. Krishna is the perfect source. And in Bhagavad Gita he's giving this knowledge. The Prabhupada quotes Svetashvatara Upanishad, Vedaham etam purusham mahantam, etc. 2 verses. And there is no truth superior to that Supreme Person, because he is the supremmost, he is smaller than the smallest, and he is greater than the greatest. Upanishadic double talk. He is situated as a silent tree, and he illuminates the transcendental sky. And as a tree spreads its roots, he spreads his extensive energies. Then, so the next verse is starting with a whole series where his energies are identified, and he's the source of those energies. And because he's the source of those energies, in one sense there's not only a relationship, but a relationship of non-difference between the energy and the source of those energies. There's a difference because the energy is not the source, not the energetic, but there's a non-difference feature at the same time. And therefore, text number 8. Rasoham apsu kaunteya prabhasmi sashi surya yoho pranavak sarva vedeshu shabdake purusham drishu. O son of Kunti, Kaunteya, I am the taste of water, the light of the sun and the moon, the syllable Om in the Vedic mantras. I am the sound in ether and the ability in man. So I'm going to read the purport. This verse explains how The Lord is all-pervasive by his diverse material and spiritual energies. The Supreme Lord can be preliminarily perceived by his different energies, and in this way he is realized impersonally. As the demigod in the sun is a person and is perceived by his all-pervading energy, the sun shines, so the Lord, although in his eternal abode, is perceived by his all-pervading diffusive energies. The taste of water is the active principle of water. No one likes to drink seawater because the pure taste of water is mixed with salt. Attraction for water depends on the purity of the taste, and this pure taste is one of the energies of the Lord. The impersonalist perceives the presence of the Lord in water by its taste, and the personalist also glorifies the Lord for his kindly supplying tasty water to quench man's thirst. That is the way of perceiving the Supreme. Practically speaking, there is no conflict between personalism and impersonalism. One who knows God knows that the impersonal conception and the personal conception are simultaneously present in everything, and that there is no contradiction. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya established his sublime doctrine, Achinta Bheda and Abheda Tattva. Simultaneous oneness and difference. Unusual way of Prabhupada saying things. One more paragraph. The light of the sun and the moon are also originally emanating from the Brahmajyoti, which is the impersonal effulgence of the Lord. And Pranava, or the Omkar transcendental sound in the beginning of every Vedic hymn, addresses the Supreme Lord, because the impersonalists are very much afraid of addressing the Supreme Lord Krishna by his innumerable names. They prefer to vibrate the transcendental sound, Omkar. But they do not realize that Omkar is the sound representation of Krishna. The jurisdiction of Krishna consciousness extends everywhere, and one who knows Krishna consciousness is blessed. Those who do not know Krishna are in illusion, and so knowledge of Krishna is liberation, and ignorance of him is bondage. End of purport. Pretty blunt. Now let's go back to chapter 9. With the understanding or assumption that the reader has understood, or Arjuna has understood 7 and 8, he goes on to very clearly focusing on the personal feature. But it's not to say the preliminary isn't focusing on the personal feature. It's necessary, or at least it's very important, to understand the person, to understand the makeup of the person, the energies surrounding that person, and they're the source of all those energies surrounding them in the material and the spiritual world. So how to see that as part of what's there in the purport, like the light of the sun and the moon. And the light of the sun and the moon exist because of the light of the Brahmajyoti. Like, here's a mirror, and there's a light source, and over here is the reflection from the light source upon the mirror, and we see the reflection. It's bright. But this light of the sun and the moon are derived from the Brahmajyoti light. The Brahmajyoti light is resting upon Krishna. So Krishna is the source of the sun, and the sunlight. A little sidebar over here. something that came up some time ago and lively discussion about it. Did Prabhupada mean what he wrote when he says that all the stars are reflections of the light of the sun in this universe? And the short answer, and it was a long discussion, but the short answer is Sanskrit words can mean different things, and the word reflection is derived from a Sanskrit word. So one concept of reflection is, here's a mirror, here's an object, and there's the reflection of the object in the mirror. But that's one notion or one conception. There's another conception, if that doesn't work, a secondary conception, which is Antardweep. Antardweep is the devotee who's overseeing the Temple of Vedic Planetarium. You familiar with that? In Mayapur? You've heard?
Yeah, I heard Mayapur.
Okay, but listen. Have you heard in Mayapur they're building a Temple of Vedic Planetarium?
No.
You've not heard? Okay.
No, I have not heard.
Okay. They're building a Temple of Vedic Planetarium. So in Mayapur today, Radha Madhava and the Ashtasakis. You've seen photos at least. And then over there is Panchatattva, another altar, right? You familiar? She's familiar. You're not. You know who?
No, I didn't go. You weren't there.
But you don't have to go. You can see pictures. They're all over the place.
Okay. Yeah, I went.
You know what Panchatattva is? Not sure. Lord Chaitanya, and when Lord Chaitanya appeared, he appeared with Nityananda, Advaita Acharya from Shantipur, Gadadhar, and Srivas. So we have kirtan. Shortly we'll have kirtan. We say, Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya, 1. Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita, Gadadhar, Srivas. Adi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. That's the Panchatattva mantra. With Lord Chaitanya and his expansions that appeared with him, Panchatattva. So there's an altar, Panchatattva altar. Lord Chaitanya and his primary associates. So that's there in Mayapur. And then one other altar that's there is Prahlad Nrsimha. You've seen the picture? Certainly you know who Nrsimha, but if you've not seen the picture of the deity, you have to show him the picture of the deities.
He knows. Prahlad Nrsimha.
Prahlad Nrsimha. But
Yeah.
aside, you know who they are.
He knows.
Show them the picture.
He's no picture.
Lunch later.
I'll.
You show him.
Okay.
Okay. I just want to, I want to go to the Temple of Vedic Planetarium. We have to introduce what else is going to be there. So the plan, Prabhupada described, and it's now 2022, they're planning to have a grand opening.
Oh.
So the central altar will be the disciplic succession. You approach first the disciplic succession. Then they introduce one to Lord Chaitanya and his associates, who introduces one to Radha Madhava. 3 altars. And the temple room floor, I forget the numbers, but it's, at any given time it can accommodate some ridiculous number, 10,000 people. 10,000 people? That's like a mini football stadium. Some gigantic number. And then they have a dome, and so if it gets really crowded, they can put people up in the dome. And then there's like a circular. She's got to sit in a chair, and he can come in. Yeah, don't worry, they're good. They're good. We're going to get to the Temple of Vedic Planetarium. You just keep paying attention. We'll get there.
And it will be opening on 2022.
2022. The deities that are existing in the temple are going to be moved to the new temple.
Okay.
And the Temple of Vedic Planetarium is another dome. So rather than calling it Sri Sri Radha Madhava Mandir, which would be more standard, Prabhupada called it Temple of Vedic Planetarium. Because over here, on one side, is another dome that is going to depict the universe according to Srimad Bhagavatam and the Vedas. And it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be moving. A three-dimensional hanging like a chandelier from the ceiling, the pole star Dhruvaloka, and then the planets that are downward direction from the how the universe is structured, and the whole thing's going to move slowly, mechanical. It's like in India, get it to move. But anyways, they've got a plan. So,
How did they do that?
huh?
How did they do that?
They're planning. It's technology. And then over on the other side, another dome is Nrsinga. Prahlad Nrsinga, because he has his own altar and his own little temple. The main temple, and then the Temple of Vedic Planetarium. So the devotee that's in charge of the design and the fulfillment of that design, his name is Antardweep Das, Prabhupada disciple. And he is very knowledgeable in Vedic cosmology, structure of the universe. So he explained that Prabhupada didn't make a mistake or didn't say something that he didn't intend. Rather, there's another idea of reflection. And that other idea of reflection is something like, it's mentioned in Brahma Samhita, a Surya Kant gem. Surya, sun. And Surya Kantamani is a gem that it absorbs the light of the sun, and it's luminous because it absorbs the light of the sun. Now it's luminous, it sits in your hand, doesn't have to be in the sunshine, it can be in a dark room, and it's giving off light. Because it receives light from the sun and somehow stores that light in the sun. There's no battery in there, it's just gem. That
Solar.
its luminosity is derived from the sun. So similarly, with another interruption, can you stand and take this plate of fruit from here? We're going to offer it later, but for now you can. Yeah, that's good for now. For now, we'll put it there.
Okay.
Welcome. Good to see you again. Glad you could come. Hare Krishna.
Sorry.
No problem. There's some more people coming too, don't worry. Okay, so now a Surya Kant gem. It's Brahma Samhita is the place of reference, and it's a gem that doesn't just, you move it and reflect like a crystal. And you move it and it reflects light, and it's nice. But it's luminous. Similar, so he uses this word channeling. So the other luminaries in the sky are channeling the light that comes from the sun. And they're luminous, like the Suryakant gem. But they derive their light from the sun. And where does the light of the sun come from? It comes from the Brahmajyoti. Now, are there gases that burn and all that stuff? Yeah. And it seems like it's inexhaustible. well, at least for the duration of the universe, it's the same temperature for as long as the universe is going. It doesn't go up, it doesn't go down, it's the same. Where does it derive that, where's the fuel that's burning? Where's the luminosity come from? It's derived from, it's the one planet, according to his explanation, it's the one planet in this universe that's directly deriving light from the Brahmajyoti. All other planets in this universe are deriving light from the sun, and they're storing, and they're luminous. Not just a mirror reflecting some light, but it's that other second meaning of reflection. So, back to the Bhagavad Gita verse. I'm the light of the sun and the moon. So the moon is this reflecting kind. Although Prabhupada poses the possibility that it's different. But commonly, modern science and commonly the thinking is the moon reflects the light of the sun. But the light of the moon is derived from the sun, and the light of the sun is derived directly from the Brahmajyoti. And the Brahmajyoti, last verse of chapter 14, Krishna is the basis of the Brahmajyoti. So what's the Brahmajyoti anyways? The Brahmajyoti is the Jyoti, it's the light that's the effulgence of Krishna Loka and Krishna's body and everything in the spiritual sky and the spiritual planets. There's light emanating, just like light from the sun emanates from the sun. So the Jyoti in the spiritual sky, the Brahmajyoti, is an emanation from Krishna and Krishna's person. I am the light of the sun. But this is in the energetic sense, this is in the energy sense, as the energy is inseparable from its energetic. The rays of the sun don't exist without the sun. There's no such thing. It's a cute idea, but there's no such thing as sun rays without the sun, or sunshine without the sun. But the sunshine is not the sun, it's not the source, but they're inseparable. In that sense, I am the light of the sun. But the source of the light of the sun is a person. So there's a mango. And the mango grew from a mango tree. And from that mango you can grow another mango tree because there's a mango seed inside. There's a devotee I know, name is Pyari Mohan, Prabhupada disciple, and he was always wondering. So he's really good with growing things, so he tried it. If I take a seed of a mango, is it going to produce a mango tree? So he took a mango pit, and he's been around. It takes a while to grow a mango tree, but he knows how to grow things, and it's growing a little mango tree in Hartford, Connecticut. No, he keeps it in a place where it has a good temperature year-round, kind of tropical little box, and then in the summer he takes it outdoors, like you bring your Tulsi outdoors in the summer because sun and light and temperature. And then in the winter he brings the mango little tree indoors, puts it in a little box. It keeps nice temperature and moisture and things, little tropical, and it's growing from the seed. So where did the seed come from that's growing the mango that produced this mango? And Krishna is the seed-giving father. So the mango tree or trees, that the whole genesis, the whole species, is resting upon Krishna. So I'm the mango. But it's not the mango is the source of everything. The mango has this connection. Everything has its connection, sambandha, its relationship. So chapter 7, and there's a whole series of verses like this. I am this, I am that, and I am the other thing, and the other thing, and the other thing, and we, the devotees, those who are hearing Bhagavad Gita, need to see things, all things, in relation to the source of emanation. And then once you see that, or you at least notionally have that idea, what do? You offer that back to the source. Just like the worship of the Ganges. as offering palmfuls of Ganges unto the Ganges. Now the Ganges doesn't need a palmful. So the benefit is not for the Ganges, the benefit is the person who's making the offering to the Ganges. The worship of the Ganges is purifying for the person who's worshipping the Ganges. And it's very simple, you offer palmfuls unto the Ganges. But it's not a mechanical thing, it's a devotional thing. Making an offering unto. And so we take the mango, we offer the mango to Krishna. It becomes prasadam. And then we take the Krishna prasadam. The act looks quite the same. The life of a devotee and the life of a non-devotee. We heard this in the verse that we looked at Friday, Canto 9. You had this question. The activities of a person, the activities of the body of a person, and the activities of the person who has the body but understand they're not the body. It's like the act of eating a mango may look the same for someone that doesn't offer the mango and someone who offers the mango. Looks the same. Eating looks the same. But it's a world of difference, a spiritual and material world of difference. That's resting upon seeing the mango comes from Krishna and offering whatever comes from Krishna to Krishna. And then not just the mango, it's life. Everything. Without exception, everything. Now, what's the philosophical basis for that? It's in Bhagavad Gita. Supposing people don't like reading Bhagavad Gita. Well, they may do the behavior, but they really won't understand necessarily what's going on. They're doing a ritual, which is okay, better than not. But the realization isn't just from doing the ritual. The realization is the love and devotion with which that which is from Krishna is offered to Krishna. I'll give a little example. Parents are very fond of having their children come before a sannyasi and pay obeisances.
Blessings.
Now, little children don't know anything about paying obeisances. So sometimes the parents take their head, push their head into the floor, and pay obeisances. You say it in whatever their language is. Now, what does the child understand about that? Nothing. They may even resent it. When they grow up, they're not like, hey, let me go pay obeisances, because I remember Mom pushing my head onto the floor. That was such a nice experience, I want to keep doing it. And then supposing, when Mom's around, they pay obeisances when they're a little bit older. Because that's what you're supposed to do, pay obeisances. But what's in their heart? What the benefit is the heart, submission. So there's the cultural offering of respect to an elder, or one's mother, or whatever, a brahmana. There's some cultural, behavioral mannerism like that. But it's a whole other thing when it's something that's in the heart. And that what's in the heart is assisted by having an understanding of why we offer things to Krishna, for example. Why engage in bhakti? The philosophical underpinnings or foundation and support for a life of devotion to Krishna. It belongs to Him. It's His. Let me offer it to Him. That's natural. He's very kind. He doesn't take it away from you. Sometimes He may, but generally there's the remnants of Krishna prasadam, and we can sanctify the body by taking remnants of Krishna prasadam and distribute Krishna prasadam to others. We were at a program last night where one of the persons that attends the program, is an employee in a hospital. And I don't think they're an MD, but they have some kind of qualification of education that's not an MD, but something that's way up there. And one of the things they like to do, it's a Russian lady, and she likes to bake. So one of the things, Russian people like to bake cakes and bake stuff. There's a temple that's as far north in Russia, not Siberia, but in Russia, that Bhakti Chaitanya Maharaj told me about. And the devotees support the center through baking. They bake cakes. You know, cakes and cakes and cakes and cakes. They have like a cake factory. Russian people like to bake cakes, so this lady likes to bake. So when it came time for prasadam, the devotees distribute prasadam, and she does what she always does. She was distributing some baked things. Some little this and some little that, and breads and a little packet. And I know the devotees, so I said, I didn't get one. Can I get one? To encourage. I just want to taste it, just one each, please. And so she was opening up the box that had her supply. She gave me one and gave me one. And said, I want to keep some of these because when I go to the hospital tomorrow, I want to distribute to the co-workers. That's her Krishna Bhakti gift, because Krishna's given her gift of liking baking, and she's good at it, and she likes to offer to Krishna and give Krishna prasadam. The gift that Krishna has given, give it back to Krishna, and then give the prasad, the mercy of Krishna, to others in a way that they really like, because they know she's good at baking. But she knows that Krishna's accepted it because it's been prepared and offered with love. And so she's giving Krishna in the form of prasadam, Krishna prasadam, to others. And similarly, each of us have some gift, and we're using that gift in some way or another to maintain ourselves or to live in the world and, be who we are. Bhakti says, do all that, and do it for Krishna. And there's this chapter 7 is the philosophical basis for that. Yad karoshi yadasnasi yad jahosti dadasi yat. Yat tapasyashi konte tat karashva madarpanam. We worship Krishna by offering everything to Krishna. There's the ritual of making the offering, but it's the real thing that Krishna wants is not just the ritual. Krishna wants the love, not the ritual, nor the item that you're offering. And then he'll accept. The one who lives their life that way can understand Krishna. That's what we heard on Friday. And to understand Krishna isn't, 1, 2, 3. To give to Krishna, to understand Krishna requires bhakti, and bhakti isn't just a ritual, it's a mood of devotion. So that's what chapter 9 is. The most confidential part of bhakti is pure bhakti, where there isn't anything else going on but that. There's mixed, and there's unmixed. And that's the message of chapter 9, Bhagavad Gita. Chapter 7 is helping us get there. By understanding, at least theoretically, how can we offer, what's going on when you offer something, the mango, to Krishna? Besides, my grandmother did it. And so I do it because, don't ask me why, I do it because my grandmother did it. I saw her doing it and she taught me how to do it, and so I do it. That's why I do it. It's a ritual I learned from my grandmother. I love my grandmother, so I do it. But these days, the younger generation, they're not so content to just do it because grandmother did it. They need to know, why did grandmother do it? And so the philosophical basis is right there in Bhagavad Gita. I'll share one last thing, and then we'll see if there's some discussion. Those that have heard me speaking from time to time know that I, like a broken record, that phrase doesn't work anymore because now everything is digital. But a broken record is when things weren't digital and they had records and there was a little crack in the, so it would just keep playing the same sound over and over again. That's the broken record. Broken record, broken record. So like a broken record, I like to say, please study Prabhupada's books. And one of the best ways, if not the best way, is involve yourself in systematic study of Prabhupada's books under a teacher, because then it's not just information, it's the mood and the application of the message of Bhagavad Gita. That's what teachers do, not just information, but the mood of devotion. And they transmit it through that relationship of being the teacher. So just this morning, got a letter from a disciple of Tamal Krishna Maharaj, who is doing a kind of summertime Bhagavad Gita study group, Bhakti Shastri, the other books too. And she said, here's a nice report. There are 3 students out of it's like not a big group. This is all in Chinese. They're covering Bhagavad Gita. Brother and sister, who are both disciples, they're not only they really are into it, but she can see they're being transformed just by studying Bhagavad Gita. I mean, besides they're happier, they're both really active people, go people. But it's not like they're slowing down, but along with their go part of their life, they're feeling something they've never felt before. Their hearts are being transformed just by this systematic study of Bhagavad Gita. So here we are in central New Jersey, and those of you that are interested in heart transformation, it's not a medical term, it's a spiritual term. I'm sure there's some local situations for systematic Bhagavad Gita study and the other devotional texts, and participate. What do you know? What some of the do you know what some of the options are, without saying what they are right now? If you're interested, see him, and I'll help connect you with some of the local options. For you don't have to drown. Just dangle your feet in the pool and see if you like the temperature and feel good about it. Find out about systematic study, and those that do it find wow. Of course, it depends on the teacher and as well as the commitment of the student, but it's very important. There's a reason why Bhagavad Gita has lasted for so long, as revered in the world. And there's a reason why this particular Bhagavad Gita, all around the world, has been producing devotees. Still today. There's a young person, American fellow, recently turned 18, finished high school a semester early because he just gone in a fast track to finish high school, has been accepted to college, and he somehow, his mother and father are living separately. They're separated. I don't think they're divorced. So it's not a good home situation. She's Christian and thinks Hare Krishna is a cult. So he's not got a lot of support out there. And Dad's over there just smiling, saying, Mom's unhappy. That makes me happy. So, that's the atmosphere in which he's But he shared with me. I was searching, and I read stuff online, and I got some books about Eastern European and ancient European history, and it just all kept pointing to India. And so I started seeing what books from India I could get. I found some stuff online. I couldn't really understand them. It was like, a very serious young man, 18. He did that when he was 16, 17, just because he wanted to know. Then he found a copy of Bhagavad Gita. He just found it. I forget how he found it. And it was like the lights went on. So I want to find out more about this. So we went online and found out there's a Hare Krishna center near him. Started going to the Hare Krishna center. Mom started flipping out. This is a cult, and Dad was laughing at Mom. And, he has a number of brothers and sisters, a large family, and they were like, "What's going on with you, Dr. Jack?" So anyway, just from reading Prabhupada's books. I mean, there was a curiosity, I want to know element. But he didn't get an answer to I want to know until other than I'm not getting answers. That was the answer he was getting. It leads to India, but I don't know exactly how it works. And from reading Bhagavad Gita, then he started chanting. So he's been chanting, before he even met devotee, he was chanting 16 rounds, regularly studying Bhagavad Gita. Just from Prabhupada's book. And there's so many examples like that. So those of you that are from India, everybody in the room except for a couple of us are from India, or at least parents are from India. Younger generation were born here, but you have a super head start. No, in one sense, it's a disadvantage because you think, I already know all this stuff. And there's an advantage to knowing that you don't know. But there's a disadvantage in not knowing, because you really don't know. And there is some other conception you have. A Christian conception, or a something or other conception. Or we all have some conceptions. So you got a head start. Now I'm encouraging systematic study, find out the programs, dangle your feet in the pool and see what it's like. I think you'll like it. The water's warm. It's good, it's very nice. Come on in. Okay, so any discussion? Yeah.
Maharaj, you spoke about the DOVP.
TOVP, Temple of Vedic Planetarium, has an acronym.
Right.
I'm looking at our hostess, who's off in the kitchen, and our host.
I'll let come in here.
We're going to have our tea, and you can go in the kitchen when, but come sit in here. She's an active lady. She's got to be serving everybody. Okay, so he's asking a question about the Temple of Vedic Planetarium, which has an acronym TOVP.
Okay.
Temple of Vedic Planetarium. Enter it into your computer and you'll find all kinds of stuff that the deities and the timeline and what's going on.
Temple of Vedic Planetarium. Okay.
TOVP.
Fine, no problem.
Okay. So now your question.
I would like to know when it is scheduled to open.
2022. Gaur Purnima. Now, the planetarium portion isn't going to be complete. It's the completion of the construction of the main temple, and the deities will be moved from where they're worshipped now there. And they're promising everybody we're going to be on target.
About the planetarium.
I don't know the answer to that one. Later. Don't know the answer. Maybe you go and look it up and maybe they'll have it.
Mayapur should have some website.
Mayapur.
Yeah, should have some website, right?
They have their own website, sure.
Yeah.
It's called Mayapur.
When you go there,
But TOVP has their own website too.
Right.
You can go to both of them.
Okay.
Get answers that I don't have. About when that planetarium portion is going to open, I don't know. Later. Sometime later. They're running, as far as I understand, they're running into some practical / technical challenges. They have ideas and they have to vet those ideas. Was it vet this way, that way, the other way? And the Temple of Vedic Planetarium just needs money. They're go. They're going to finish. They're going to finish.
I have a question. Did
Huh?
they start the construction yet?
Oh, it's been going on for like 15 years.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, that's 15 years?
15 years.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, you're busy with your life, but they've been going busy with construction.
It's huge.
Last time I went.
It's taller than the Sistine Chapel. You've heard of that one? You heard of the Vatican?
Yeah.
That head of the Catholic churches in
Right.
Rome,
Right.
called the Vatican. It's taller than the Vatican.
Right.
I went there in February. It's massive.
That's massive. And it's beautiful. And it's expensive. And they're going to finish it. You went there in February,
In February,
so just before Gaur Purnima.
yeah. Right, yeah.
Uh-huh.
And then from there I went to also Puri.
Puri.
Jagannath Mandir.
Okay. Good. Good. That was completed a long time ago. It took a long time to complete it. This one is going up very quickly. Compared to the size of the structure and the quality of the materials, they're moving really quickly compared to other major edifices, moving very quickly. I mean, as far as I know, they'll complete it on time. They're confident they will. But it's not done even when they open. It's because the planetarium part has to be completed too. So that was your question. When is it going to be done? 2022. You have something? Yeah.
Yes, I do. My dad said that I could ask any question about
Any question
anything.
you want.
Okay. And I'm honestly a little nervous about asking this question because it has to do with race and gun violence,
Gun violence.
especially given the recent shooting that happened in Virginia Beach on
Yes.
Friday evening. Again, I don't know too much of the details because I don't know. Gun shootings break my heart. But my question to you is,
She wrote it
If-
down. She's reading.
if white men have historically been the most privileged in the United States and have always had the system work in their favor, why would some of them feel the need to grab a gun and kill a bunch of people and then, in many cases, kill themselves? Basically, what I'm asking is, why are most of the gunmen that have caused mass shootings in the United States white men?
I don't know. Maybe because there's more white men. Maybe because those that are privileged find out it's frustrating. So-called privilege is supposed to make you happy, and it doesn't make you happy. And so they're frustrated. Expectations that are not met. Expectations that are not met leads to frustration. Suicide rate is the highest percentage-wise amongst the people who are most wealthy. Narcissism. You know what that term means.
Yeah.
So, amongst the narcissists, that's the millennials, that you're in that category, they have been pumped up by the society, by the the times in which they're living, to say you're special, you're great, da 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 da, you can do it, and then expectation doesn't meet reality. So drug overdose, accidental death due to drug overdose, suicide, depression, So why would somebody who thinks and have been told you're special has such episodes? Because it doesn't match reality. Therefore, that topic on Friday evening, acceptance. I'm not really something special. I'm, in relation to Krishna, I'm something special. Krishna's part and parcel, as are everyone else here is also special. And there are some special things that I have in my life that I count my blessings. Identify what they are. And so that's enough. You don't have to be, the best, or the most beautiful, or the most intelligent, or the most wealthy, or the most anything, because who you are is good enough. That's the acceptance message. And those that don't accept that, they go this other direction. So just, whether your body is white or brown or pink, or orange or purple, or whatever, if one's intrinsic worth isn't appreciated, they're pumped up to think there's something special some other way, that's frustration, because they're not. It doesn't match reality. So when somebody's frustrated, they do frustrated things. And it's not rational, frustrated things. Anger is not rational. It's not guided by thought, guided by hurt emotion. I was told, and it's not the reality. So then they blame other people, or get something. It's a sign of it. It's not just one time.
Yes.
It's a sign of our times. So, question. I don't know if you heard this discussion at the Central New Jersey Temple during the last Japa retreat, but there was a question. One of your friends asked, should I get involved in gun violence assemblies? Because it really disturbed me, and I want to be proactive. I want to be a social activist and a political activist, because that's what everybody else is doing. But the little light goes on saying, I'm a devotee. Am I doing the right thing? Did you hear that discussion? Maybe. I'm giving you the flow, not the verbatim.
Okay.
And I said, you're a devotee, so you understand where is this coming from? Guna and karma. If you don't change the guna and karma, and you get stricter control of gun licensing and gun sales, it's like a weed in your garden. You clip the top of the weed. What's going to happen?
It's gonna grow.
Yeah, the root's still there. You haven't solved the problem. So, what's the problem? The root. What's the root? Involvement with the modes of nature, identifying strongly with it, and forgetting Krishna. You know the root of the problem. How do you get rid of the modes of nature? Well, they got a hold on everybody. There is a solution, and you know the solution. So get together with those people and help them understand the solution. They may say, you're nuts. But you say, clipping the top of the weed without addressing the root, you haven't solved the problem, man. Whatever the language you want to use. Brother, or sir, or my friend, or whatever. So how are you going to convey that message to people that are out there having a rally? You got to have gun control. That's not the root of the problem. Okay, it's not the root of the problem. You got to have gun control. Okay, have gun control, but don't just do gun control. Go to the root of the problem and do gun control. That's fine. And punish the people but go to the root of the problem. Otherwise it's politics. It's never a solution. Doesn't mean you don't have policies. Good government has policies and they enforce the good policies. Your hurt isn't going to be checked by, identifying the answer to your question. They're frustrated people doing frustrated things. So what's the root of that frustration, that anger? They do violent things. And it's pervasive. Not sometimes. Practically every third day it's another one. Thanks for asking.
Thank you for answering.
Anything else?
I have a question. What's the spiritual form of Lord Krishna?
What's the spiritual form?
Form of Lord Krishna.
Well, we'll start with Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchit Ananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karana. So his form is eternal, Sat, full of knowledge, Chit, and Ananda. 3. Eternal knowledge and full of Ananda. That's so. And you know Brahma Samhita at all? Are you familiar with hearing? Have you heard that verse before? You've noticed that devotees have heard.
Yeah.
Yeah, you heard it before somewhere. So, in all of our temples, there are 2 Brahma Samhita verses we sing together every morning, along with a recording of Jamuna singing it, with George Harrison's musical accompaniment in the background. Vedam kanvantam aravinda talayataksham barhavatam samasitam Buddha sundarangam kandarpa koti kamaniya vishesha shobha. That's something about his form. Govindam. So in Brahma Samhita you'll find a description, because Brahma is seeing his form and he's describing what he's seeing. Now we don't have the eyes that Brahma had, the eyes of devotion. But by hearing from Brahma, we can churn that mood of devotion and picture in our mind, or in a painting or in a deity form, the form of Shyamsundar. Go to Plainfield Temple and you see Radha Shyamsundar. She's thinking.
No, I was thinking to ask you another question, going back to her question again. So the last thing you said that we have to attack the root, where is the problem for the gun. So how can we do that?
Bhakti.
Bhakti. Yeah, how can we spread bad things to those people who are having gun and shooting?
It's not just the people who have guns. And the guns and the people that don't do anything about what they're doing, and just but mourn and grieve over the loss because they're so. It's not just the people with the guns.
Yeah.
Right. So it's what your question is Vyasadev's question. Vyasadeva looked into, because he's Trikala Gya, he knows past, present, and future. He looked into the future and saw Kali Yuga. I got to do something. So he understood and he wanted to do something. What he did was he compiled Srimad Bhagavatam. He compiled all the Vedas, and then the crest jewel is Srimad Bhagavatam. So he compiled it. We read it and distribute it and propagate its message. But to propagate its message, you have to carry the message in your heart, and then you already just distribute the books, and you really don't know what's in the book, but convey the message. And that changes the hearts of men. Vidhunoti surit satam. Vidhunoti cleanses the heart and establishes one in goodness instead of the anger, tamas, that arises from rajas, the passion that's unsatisfied, unfulfilled. Anger. So replace the lower modes with that higher mode, starting with the sound vibration, and then the sound vibration of the Maha Mantra. Propagate the Maha Mantra. In your home, you play the Maha Mantra all the time.
Yeah, at work I told a lot of people
Good.
to do those things. They're kind of laughing at me, and they're, oh really? Oh really?
Okay.
They're not Hindus, they're Christian, but I told them
Okay, good.
a lot of times
Keep
that
telling.
you should do that, then, but
Okay.
I don't think
Well-
it worked that much.
Then the message is not the wrong message. The instrument that delivers the message needs to become more transparent. Certainly there's an obstacle, like unwillingness over there. But if there's the more there's purity over here, the more the instrument, the more the effectiveness of the message. And you know, some maybe the people at work aren't, you know, in this lifetime going to take you seriously, even if you became a pure devotee. But the message is not the wrong message, and find some people that want to hear the message, just like your friends here. That go and visit Mayapur and go and visit Puri, and you know, because they want that purification. That's why they're going there. So get together with those people and become engaged in regular hearing and chanting together. Take up Bhagavad Gita study in the companionship with your friends that have that interest. That your self-purification will become stronger, you'll be a better instrument. Maybe Krishna will send somebody else to come to the program you haven't met before.
Yeah, I think we need that.
Huh?
We need that type
Yeah,
person
well,
or
you
whatever.
make a couple of steps and Krishna can take 10 steps to you. It works that way. Right? Yeah. Just like because you've been maintaining this program for how many years now? You lost track, too many. 20 years.
Long time.
20 years.
Haribol.
At least, something like that. So here we are, because of that bhakti that you have. Now grow it yourself inside, and
Yeah, but I'd like to do something about this gun violence, really.
well,
I
you
don't
know,
know how to do
I'm
that.
giving an answer. And you're a tiny, one tiny jiva.
Yeah.
Me too,
Mhm.
and her also. This young girl. So, tiny jivas. What can we do? Collectively, we can do something, and collectively, the root is addressed by sound vibration. So make sound vibration, not just stopping violence. It's not going to stop the violence. Make laws that they can't buy guns. Not going to stop the violence. The weed's going to grow. The modes of nature are going to act in some other way. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. No solution. Doesn't mean don't make laws and don't control the sale, etc., etc., and even the production and which ones are sold and so on and so on. But it's insufficient. You want to do something? follow the footsteps of Vyasadeva. You're not Vyasadeva, nor am I, but follow in the footsteps. The message, and propagate the message to your capacity. Find the ways and the means to propagate the message and bring the message in, both. That's what you can do. Not just throw your hands up and say, oh, I'm frustrated. This place is crazy. It's crazy. And we're frustrated. Now what do? Go down a path that's Vyasadeva has made the trail. Just go down the path.
I have one more question.
Okay.
Does our Lord Krishna listen to us whenever we appeal to him something that
Pray.
Lord Krishna, I really want this. I really want this. Can you please? So,
Like gun control.
gun control is one of them. Yeah.
But he's not an order supplier. This maybe it's something in relation to your daughters. May my daughters find a nice husband or something. Maybe they have nice children or something. He's not an order supplier. He hears, but he's not an order supplier. Hey, I got a lot of husbands in my warehouse. He hears, and how he reciprocates may be, according to his plan to how to reciprocate. It's because it's very complex. Your wants and your needs, he can take care of, but when he wants more than just like your appeals, please take care of this and then that and the other thing. There's other considerations for him. Okay. Last question, then we're going to have RT.
Okay. So how long Vasudev lived there?
How long what?
Vasudev lived there.
He's still alive.
Still alive.
According to the Madhvas, he's in the higher realm of Badrinath. There's different levels or realms. Theoretical physics teaches there are higher realms. Madhvas say he's in this upper realm, and that's where Madhva went and found him.
Still there.
He's still there, in his ashram, and he'll stay there until the end of Kali Yuga, and then he'll descend with his associates, and they'll begin Satya Yuga. They'll descend from that upper realm into this realm and begin Satya Yuga. Wow, that's right.
He's in Badrinath.
Huh?
Badrinath?
There's the upper Badri, there's different levels.
Okay.
So if somebody goes there with their camera to find Vyas, they won't find him. But Madhva was able to find him. The assistant that was following him lost because he was doing the Vayu program, going leaps and bounds, he couldn't keep up. Now this is the biographical life of Madhvacharya from the view of Madhva followers. But certainly our Gaudiya understanding is he heard directly from Vyas. And Vyas is going to start the next Satya Yuga. That's a long time away.
Prabhu, when Kali Yuga is supposed to end?
You want to know when? 427,000 years.
227.
420. The duration of Kali Yuga is 432 minus 5,000. 432,000 years is the duration of Kali Yuga. 5 have passed, 5,000. roughly around the time of Krishna's departure, or a little thereafter, Kali Yuga began. 427,000 left. It gets really bad. Canto 12. You have Srimad Bhagavatam in your home?
Yeah.
Canto 12
12.
tells the description of what's it like at the end of Kali Yuga. We don't want to be around for that. Kalki avatar comes. Kali Yuga is over. Satya Yuga, little sandhi, a little juncture, and then Satya Yuga begins. Now Satya Yuga is way up there, and Kali Yuga is way down there. So he wipes it out, and then here comes Vyas to establish Satya Yuga, Yuga Dharma.
Is the wipe out will be carried out by Shiva?
By Kalki. You got a chopper.
Is that Shiva is in charge of?
No, that he's not. He is not in charge of terminating Kali Yuga. Kalki avatar, Vishnu Tattva Kalki avatar appear. According to the Bhagavatam, he appears at the end of Kali Yuga, riding a white horse, with a chopper in his hand, and liberates everybody.
So what is the function of Shiva, Lord Shiva?
His function comes at the end of the universe. The end of the universe, he does his Tandava Nidra, Nritya, his dance of annihilation. Brahma turns to him and says, "Okay, Shiva, time." And he does it. And dance and dance and dance, and then the universe goes up in flames. In between, he does other things. I mean, that's not the only thing he does.
The sun, do you consider sun as a god, Lord? How?
No.
Because when I went to India, I saw sun temples. There are a lot of people in Odisha. They go and visit
Yeah.
sun temple. But is it considered as a
Well, just like in Puri, just north of Puri along the shore.
that?
Konark Temple.
Konark temple. I went there. There's a lot of sun is considered as a demigod, right?
Yeah, Surya. Konark, he's worshipping Surya there. So what's your question? Is
So
the
is
sun a demigod? Yes.
Yeah, that's why I went.
Sun is a demigod. Brahma Samhita has a whole text about that also. Brahma Samhita. Yachakiresa Savita Sakalagrahanam. So you can look it up. Okay, Arti time. Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai. Prabhupada Maharaj ki Jai.